What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to more esports news here at Esports Talk, breaking down the most common thing throughout 2019, including esports organizations, that being esports organizations not being able to pay their goddamn players. Welcome, guys. Let's talk about it. Let's debate about it. A great article down below by George, my boy over at Upcomer, who has now broken down the next organization on that list. That's Epsilon Esports. Yeah, we've heard of Denial. Yeah, we heard most recently of Quantum Bellator Fire, NIP. The laundry list continues of organizations who can't do the single step. You saw our video yesterday. If you guys didn't, well, maybe I'll show it to you. The single step, guys, step one of running an esports organization is being able to pay your players. Now, a great article again. It'll be linked down below if you guys want to read it through, but we have several accusations around Epsilon Esports, and where this all came out is because a couple of days ago, they posted on Twitter. Well, actually, before this, there was rumor of Epsilon Esports having financial issues, and therefore they were going to shut down entirely. Within 6 hours, a couple days back, they tweeted out, hey, we're looking for new esports teams come this fall. What do you think we should get into? And so obviously a lot of us were actually very confused by this. I responded, aren't you guys shutting down? They have since, of course, deleted that tweet, but they couldn't delete all of the accusations because they're still out there. I mean, we had Smooya. You guys are probably from the CSGO scene. If you guys are not, well, Smooya was a former CSGO player for Epsilon. He had a mind frick of an experience over there. Now, I'm not sure if he had any unpaid salaries, but we do know for at least a portion of time he actually came on to play for their roster. Then he was eventually benched, and because of a contract he did sign, they drastically cut his salary, which would be morally wrong, legally because he signed the contract, blah blah. That, of course, they can enforce that. I'm not really sure if that's what he's referring to, but you know, pretty much he had started for the roster, he was making a stable salary, they benched him, and they pretty much cut his salary to borderline below minimum wage, and so it was a pretty trashy experience. Alongside that, thanks to CoD Intel, a former CoD player as well, reporting to be owed over $10,000 by Epsilon Esports, and even more so broken down by George at Upcomer during this article, is more players still owed money. These players actually back from the H1Z1 league. It's actually quite a few players claiming that they each are owed $16,000 plus each individually. But it gets better. So we already have a former CSGO guy claiming apparently some bad transactions or at least some wrongdoings inside the organization, the way they treated him, a former Call of Duty guy. Now we have several H1Z1 former members as well, each claiming they are owed $16,000 at least a piece. And on top of that, the CEO, the current operating manager over at Epsilon Esports, who still claims they are coming back this September to hire another esports once they restaff their organization. Can't wait for that, by the way. I can't wait to cheer for you guys, and hopefully this time around you actually pay your goddamn players. I'm not sure who will join you, but you can convince a lot of up-and-coming esports players to join an organization just based off your name, which, by the way, your name's not looking too good right now. Greg Champagne, the CEO currently of Epsilon Esports, actually responded to these allegations as well by saying apparently the way those H1Z1 players sent their invoices requested to be paid was in a childish way. It was done so childishly or in an unorganized way, so the funds were withdrawn or they were withheld from the players. Imagine, if I read that correctly, that because someone requests the money that you owe them in a childish or unorganized way, you say, oh, because it was that way you did it, I'm just not going to pay you. Is this where we're currently at in esports? Are we in an esports bubble where you just can't afford to pay players back, or you just think it's okay to not pay them back because they requested you or invoiced you in a childish way? Just breathe with me. So, of course, these former players from the H1Z1 squad, they keep on requesting their payments. They keep on sending demand letters to the CEO all the way back dating to October of 2018. Eventually, he responds again, and he eventually does come forward and say that, you know, they're going to allow all the former players, you know, CSGO, Call of Duty, other esports, H1Z1 included, they're going to allow those players to express their feelings on social media because all of their former players have been paid, and it should be fine. He does also state, though, the former H1Z1, apparently according to bankruptcy over there, well, all those funds will not be paid out. So pretty much claiming all the other players out there outside of H1Z1 have been paid, so they can still complain, but the H1Z1 people, they're never going to be paid because of a bankruptcy scandal, of course, with the downfall of H1Z1 and the H1Z1 league. So all those funds are now depleted and gone and never to be paid out whatsoever. But don't worry, because he ends the claim by saying, guys, don't worry, we'll still be back in September. Epsilon Esports, by the way, we're going to restaff, we're going to rehire, and apparently we'll then have money to actually pay our players. Best of luck with that, Epsilon Esports. I wish you somewhat the best of luck, but be wary if you guys are a player joining them. We've been warned by several players before, and the accusations do continue of them not paying out salaries, and now it begins a subtle, guys, we've seen this battle so many times out there. It now begins again with Epsilon Esports, the players versus the organization. He said, she said, you haven't paid us, we have paid you. As always, my name is Jake. I hope you guys all enjoy esports news, breaking it down here all day long. We got some crazy stories today, okay? Some very enjoyable stories. As always, thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.